YouTube. What it do is your boy Benji, and we are back in between the ropes. We love all things entertainment this way and wrestling. Wrestling's held my heart for a while. We are back with another episode of WWE Smackdown. Friday night on July 18th. I'm going to give you my quick review. Wasn't really much going on in this episode, but we can get straight to it, man. So the show opens up with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Of course, we've kind of been introduced to the two of them, and that dichotomy between the two is whether or not they are going to be tag team partners, even though they don't like one another. Backstage, we kind of get a preview of this as Alexa Bliss is ready to call off the tag team. She's like, you know what? We put in the effort. I get it. You're going to tell me that we shouldn't be tag team partners. We failed. And Charlotte's like, no worries. I'm not going halfway. I went backstage. I was able to go find Adam Pearce. We had a conversation. Or Nick Aldis. But for some strange reason, Adam Pearce was the GM today. But fine. And was able to secure a match for the tag titles at SummerSlam. Bliss is completely baffled, but she forgets who she's tagging with. This is Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair makes things happen. So anyways, Bliss comes out there, and I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of funny. She came out there with like the pom-poms. I think the funniest thing is that neither one of these tag teams really trust one another, and there's not really any unity between the two, but Alexa and Charlotte at least are united by the fact that they have a hunger for gold. So what's probably going to happen, of course, is Charlotte and Alexa winning the tag team titles because of some mishap between RACQUEL and Roxanne. It's an Alexa Bliss attempt to get Charlotte the upper hand that ends up allowing Charlotte Flair the roll-up victory. I don't know what's up with these roll-ups recently. It seems as if they're being utilized in order to ensure that nobody really wins clean. We finally get Melo back on TV in the next segment. He ends up matching up against Damian Priest. Melo does what he does. We know he can hoop. We know he's entertaining. But for some strange reason, he hasn't been on TV for the last couple weeks. Anyways, it's Aleister Black that intervenes in this match, leading it to become a no contest, which is strange because I don't know what happened. Typically, you don't want anybody to intervene and cause a disqualification because then that would ensure that the other person would win. The only time you would care about that is if you were, let's say, a title holder and somebody gets disqualified. Then it doesn't matter who wins, but at least you don't transfer the title. But now all these are no contests where nobody wins. So, effectively, this means nothing for Melo because it's a no contest. One thing I will say I enjoyed was this show was actually pretty creative. I forgot to mention that the show did open with a bloodied Tamatonga and the MFTs outside in the parking lot after a car crash. And the police are out there interviewing one another and trying to figure out what's going on. So we do get sprinkles in the show of them trying to decipher who did this. I mean, WWE's going to continue to run this whodunit thing with all the characters. I'm not too mad about this because Solo and Jacob and the crew have made this pretty interesting so far. To the point where the police actually find Jacob Fatu and find him to be a person of interest. So they track him down and take him to the station. Solo gets on the mic, happy and pleased, and talks about how fake Jacob Fatu is for turning on his family. We then get the screens on with, for some strange reason, Jimmy Uso pops up and Jacob Fatu pops out, and they trek towards the ring. Apparently, Jacob Fatu has been cleared. The police said that after reviewing the footage, Jacob Fatu doesn't line up. I guess they reviewed the footage and interviewed him. So you would think that if they did that, they're able to determine who caused this car crash, right? Anyways, I still don't understand why Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu suddenly became friends after being tormented for months, but whatever. These guys fought against one another in war games. Nothing matters anymore. Nobody cares. These guys battled it out, and the numbers game seems not to matter at all as Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu continue to stand tall. What is the point of having a faction behind you if these guys cannot secure anything? These guys can't get no business handled. It doesn't make any sense. It's literally 4-on-2. But yeah, we're getting a Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa match inside a steel cage at SummerSlam. Inside the ring next, we get Stephanie Vaquer against Alba Fyre. Another person I actually just don't care about, and it's not like we're supposed to care about her, because what has Alba Fyre done? What has Piper Niven done since they've been fighting in suits? First of all, you fighting in a suit should not guarantee you a victory. So I don't understand what they're doing. The Secret Service is absolutely terrible as well. They have done a terrible job protecting Chelsea. They haven't secured anything. They're not threatening. They lose everything. Whatever. Again, this is like a 2-on-1, but the only thing was at least Piper gets to whoop on Stephanie after the match. We then get a number one contenders match where Fraxium, Andrade, and Rey Fenix and DIY battle for number one contendership. I guess Street Profits get to go to the back of the line. I guess the only thing that matters is when you have the championships. That's what people are after. And I will say this is one of the few championships that people are actually concerned with. A lot of people are actually excited about trying to garner these tag team championships, to the point where you have random people like Andrade and Rey Fenix becoming tag teams solely to get this gold. Not too mad at that. This match is entertaining. And I guess the Wyatts will see the day that these guys come after them. I think the strangest thing is that everyone was afraid of the Wyatts, and these guys were all teaming up in order to take the Wyatts down. Now nobody cares, and everybody just was willing to just take the titles away from them. So, whatever. The Wyatts did have a promo too, a video promo, which doesn't really make any sense. They're like, we're family. The Street Profits are only united because they were chasing gold. You think they've been united for 4 years chasing gold? I think it was Loomis that said that. I can't remember. That was dumb. And they're like, we're united by blood. No, you're not. You guys disappeared because you guys couldn't get any gold. Dudes win one thing and now they're suddenly on top of the world. Anyways, it's Andrade and Rey Fenix who were able to take the W. There were some dope moments though for sure in this match. It isn't too long afterward where we get to see Cody Rhodes facing off against John Cena in a contract signing. Cody comes out and addresses all the hurdles that he's had to overcome since he's coming to the WWE, like beating Seth Rollins with a torn pec, beating Brock Lesnar, and taking down Roman Reigns, and of course the final boss, and da-da-da-da-da. I will say it was pretty cool that a lot of people at the show did have San Antonio Spurs themed merch, if you care about that. And again, this kind of upsets me because it does mean that prior to these shows and prior to these events, they did think this stuff through. Obviously, they book venues, but it does come off a little strange that the shows just don't come off quite as succinct. I'm not going to lie, this episode was a lot better than the last one. But if you had to think about the things I've been talking about so far, what have we accomplished? We got to line up a couple matches for SummerSlam. That's it. Anyways, John Cena comes out and he's a little bit apologetic, which you would think at this point is a little bit antithetical to John Cena's character, because he's not apologetic to Cody Rhodes. He's apologetic to the crowd because he won't be able to compete at SummerSlam and he wanted to do big things. He wanted to come out with pyro. What are you talking about? In 6 months, we haven't seen you come out in pyro. 6 months, you haven't cared. So I don't know if it's sarcasm or is it... I don't know, but the whole time he's like, no, seriously, I'm serious. But yeah, he's not going to compete at SummerSlam because he's got a big movie to film, and that irritates Cody Rhodes. It agitates Cody Rhodes, and we're starting to see the seeds planted of what we all assumed. It's very possible that Cody Rhodes will start to turn on us, and John Cena is starting to flip the other way. I don't think Cody Rhodes will turn all the way. He won't be a maniac. He'll probably be like a tweener. That's what Triple H and the boys love to have these guys as. Tweeners. Well, they'll do some bad, they'll do some good. And you thought it was going to be something like that because Cody Rhodes did address the tweet that he had where he was like, thanks for sticking with me or whatever the case may be. And where a lot of people took it as it was time for him to turn. And he's like, no, it's not that. It wasn't that. I don't care what you're talking about, Cody Rhodes. Anyways, the John Cena tries to leave the ring. Cody Rhodes runs down the ramp, starts whooping on him. These guys start fighting. And it ends up in a moment where John Cena grabs the belt, trying to hit Cody Rhodes with it, like we've seen him do to multiple people. Cody Rhodes ends up snatching the belt and hits John Cena with it, no hesitation. So again, this only kind of confirms my theories. We then see Cody Rhodes jump to the top rope and put John Cena through the table, and then he grabs John Cena's wrist while he's unconscious and forcibly makes him sign. Literally just grabs his wrist and makes John Cena sign the contract. Like, insanity from your QB1. He gets on the mic and lets him know that it's going to be a street match. How does that even work? If the entire scene was built upon John Cena letting everybody know that he just cannot make it happen. The sponsors, the contracts, the big people weren't able to make this match a thing. Now, how can Cody Rhodes just grab his wrist and make him sign a contract? There's no way that's legally binding if they've already come to a decision that John Cena will not be at SummerSlam. I'm not gonna lie, they at least tried. Like, I did like the police creativity throughout the episode. You know, them sprinkling in who they're looking for, and of course, Jacob's past was alluded to. I thought that was interesting. This Cody Rhodes segment, I guess people might find it interesting. It's gonna be. It really just depends on what we see next week. What do we see the next couple weeks? Is this going to play into anything? Is this going to mean anything? Nothing ever does. The only other thing of interest I think we got in this episode was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. I mean, that's obviously going to be a match at SummerSlam. We did get a video promo. They better keep this joint as video promos, bro, because even through the video promo, I just don't believe what either one of them are talking about. I'm so glad Naomi is over there on Raw. Get her away from this nonsense on SmackDown. I mean, literally the video promo they're in, it begins with Tiffany talking about how they've had similar paths. Like, for example, friendships being destroyed. There were some friendships being destroyed, but Tiffany, you destroyed your friendship. Jay was a victim. She says they both won gold, but Tiffany's the only one that's been able to keep it. Well, yeah, if you only defend your championship 6 times in 200 days, it isn't too difficult for you to keep it. Now, is it? And if one of your defenses is against a 50-year-old Michelle McCool, like even Tiffany talking about some, Jade is going to be another name on the long list of people that I've beat. What long list of people have you beat? Tiffany's she literally just gets on the mic and just says whatever. I don't care. This episode was done. It was quick. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. Y'all give me y'all comments, y'all thoughts on this episode, and what we're excited to see for the next couple weeks. And if you got some predictions for SummerSlam. Peace out.